Hoop Culture. I'm kicking it right now with 1080 The Game Sports Talk. Make sure you check out the Hoop Culture flagship store located in Fashion Square Mall, right below the movie theater, for your chance to win free Magic tickets and come kick it with the team. Also, make sure you follow us on IG and Twitter at Hoop Culture and download our free app available for Androids and iPhones.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Official Master Airlines Flight 98.
Yo. We are back for Full Court Press Radio and Sports Talk 1080 team. I'm your host, Dane Thompson, with my main man, Marc Johnson and Paul Myers of NBA FCP Radio. And we want you to check in with us tonight, too. 407-482-3776 is the number to check in with us. Also, check us out on livestream.com. Search the name Tuck and O'Neill, and you'll be able to see us on the live stream, as well as our good friends at the TuneIn app on Sports Talk 1080 on the TuneIn app site. Guys, we're going to break, and we're talking about Kevin Durant and these non-stories right now. But let's talk about a team that is a story right now, the Portland Trail Blazers. I'm going to be the first one to say that I had the Blazers, I think, at 24 wins, our season preview at NBAFCPRadio.com. And we look at the roster, Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, and what it seems like a bunch of high school players, as Paul said earlier in the show, a bunch of guys you can find on pickup games, but they're 33 and 31. The question I posed to the guys before the break is, outside of CJ McCollum, outside of Damian Lillard, what other player has really stepped his game up to lead the Blazers to a 6th spot in the West? Now, the 6th spot is a very, I think the Blazers were 7th last year with LaMarcus Aldridge in that team, Nick Batum, Wes Matthews were all in different places. They're 6th in the West right now. Marc, go ahead.
Let me start with this one, right? When you look at Portland, right, and you're just like, man, you see Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum, but who else is on the team? Well, let me tell you, right? This is a team that goes 10 deep, and they're all young. All these guys are young guys. A lot of these, pretty much all the roster are former first-round picks, right? And they might have not worked out in other teams and everything like that, but it seems like these other guys are starting to settle into whatever role the coach has designed. Look, I need you to rebound. Look, I need you to defend. Look, I need you to make the extra pass, right? So you can't really point to oh, yeah, this other guy, when you look at the numbers, it's not great, but all of these guys play. And they all play hard. They all seem to play for each other. So if you factor that in, and all these guys did have some talent at some point. When you factor that in, they go 10 deep. They're playing for their coach. Guess what? They're going to be able to steal some wins from some of these teams, as Paul, just talked about, that aren't playing hard, A. And B, they're going to be able to steal wins from teams that are just only play 5. They only go 5 deep. They only go 5 or 6 deep. Listen, I've been on record and saying, listen, I'll take 10 against 5, right? I mean, the 5 better be really good that night to beat 10. And with Portland's case, sometimes that good starting 5 isn't beating just these 10 guys. It's just not happening, for a number of teams, and that's why they're in the 6th place, in the West.
Yeah, Marc's dead on. It's that their whole team's effort has been impressive. Mm-hmm. All right, these guys, again, like Marc said, they're previous high picks. A lot of them are. A guy like Ed Davis, a guy like Mo Harkless was a pretty high pick here in Orlando. Allen Crabbe has played really well. Mm-hmm. 10 points a game. I mean, it's not glamorous. Shooting 37% from outside. All right, mm-hmm. Not bad. But when you start to look at things, Al-Farouq Aminu's averaging 10 a game. Allen Crabbe, 10. Ed Davis, 6, 7. Mo Harkless, 6. Gerald Henderson, 8.
Plumlee.
Myers Leonard, 8. Plumlee, 8, almost 9. I mean, right there, you're talking about 6, 7 guys averaging, 6 to 10 points, more like 8 to 10 points. That adds up on a game on a nightly basis. Mm-hmm. I mean, so you factor in, okay, one night Farouq Aminu will have 16. Boom. That's probably a win because you're already getting 55 total points combined between Lillard and McCollum. And if those guys have a big night, forget about it. So these role players have really, as Marc said, settled in, accepted their role, and are playing hard. So, I mean, that's what basketball is about, man. It's a team sport.
Well, speaking of team and actually guys who are, underrated players and role players, The Utah Jazz are a game and a half behind the Houston Rockets. The Rockets have all these names: Dwight Howard, James Harden, Trevor Ariza, Pat Beverly, Terrence Jones. They have a whole bunch of names, but they're a game and a half ahead of the Utah Jazz, who's getting back one of their key guys in about another week or two, and Alec Burks. Mark and Paul, I think the Jazz can catch the Houston Rockets and pretty much send the NBA into a tailspin because the beard won't be in the playoffs. Do you guys agree? I think Utah gets in the playoffs. I think that the Rockets are out. What do you think?
Yeah, it's only a game and a half. I mean, it's not unfathomable. Should they? No. There's no reason they should. Houston's just – they're just dysfunctional. I mean, Howard doesn't want to be there. Harden doesn't want Howard there. The other guys can't stay healthy. Ariza, I love Ariza. I love Brewer. Those are my type of guys, man. They just play hard. But that's it. I mean, Beverly plays hard, but he's been kind of distant as well. He hasn't played well. He's been often injured. I mean, that team is just a mess, man. I'll tell you what's going to happen. Daryl Morey's going to blow this thing up, and he's going to keep Harden, and he's going to build around Harden.
Mark, am I crazy?
Nah, not at all. Utah, it's really going to depend on what the schedule looks like for both these teams down the stretch. Of course, Houston, with having James Harden, with having Dwight Howard, with having some of the other guys, they can beat anybody on any given night. Utah, they can't really do that. If another team plays pretty good and they're better than Utah, most likely Utah will lose. But getting Alec Burks back is huge for them. I think, if they have a favorable schedule and Houston doesn't, they can overtake them. But I think circumstances will have to bounce their way for that to happen.
This is interesting. When you look at Houston, what they have coming up, I mean, they have Philadelphia, Boston, Charlotte in the next 3 games after that, and then you go down the further games with the Clippers, the Thunder. They have a game on March 23rd, which is a key one against the Utah Jazz. Mm-hmm. Then they have a couple stretch of games in the East when they're playing, Indiana and Cleveland, Chicago. Another game on ABC against Oklahoma City.
I mean, these are tough games.
I mean, they're down the stretch is very, very – and actually their final 5 games I think are all winnable. Dallas, Phoenix, Lakers, Minnesota, Sacramento to end the season.
That stretch might help them. Actually, that's what might propel them into that or keep them at that 8th spot, I should say.
And on the Jazz, on their end, I mean, the Jazz, you're looking at they have a back-to-back with Golden State and Atlanta.
Ew.
I mean, and then you have a stretch where you play Cleveland, Chicago, Milwaukee, I think in a 7-day period, and then down the stretch is not as bad. I mean, it's pretty bad. I mean, you have Phoenix, San Antonio, Clippers, Denver, Dallas in the season in Kobe's final game against the Lakers. So, and the Lakers have been playing well, of late. So, you're right. Those final 5 games for Houston are just winnable. But it seems like
it's a good look.
It seems like they might just go 1-4 because it's just the Rockets.
They've been unpredictable.
I don't think the Rockets. I think if they're really neck and neck, I don't think they'll implode in the last 3 or 4 games.
I think they'll pull it together.
I just don't see them imploding that late when it's like we can get in the playoffs, fellas. I think they'll find a way to pull it together. If the race is close, Utah's going to have to do a lot of damage between here and the final 5 games, and it's going to be against some tough teams, by the way. But they're going to have to win some of those games. I don't know if they can win them.
What if this is Houston's master plan to play against Golden State in the first round?
And what they pull, and then the Warriors get we believe in the first round of the playoffs?
Not going to happen. They're going to get smoked.
Mark, here's a question. How nuts would the internet go if James Harden pulled a Baron Davis and go baseline and just completely dunk on Andrew Bogut?
Oh, that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. Trust me, that happened to my team back in the day, the Sonics.
Oh, yeah. Mutombo and the boys. Yep.
I don't know. It's just interesting because maybe this might be Daryl Morey's plan, all along, to get to the 8th spot and then just beat Golden State and then basically back Daryl Morey back in his good graces, knowing he's the greatest Moneyball GM of this era, this Golden Age era. But I don't know. I think the Rockets have been, like you said, Paul said, been a complete mess this year, a cluster. But I like the Utah Jazz, even without Dante Exum. I know that you guys don't think they should make the playoffs this year. I think you go as far as you can. At what point in time does picking at number 13, 12, 13, isn't that the same as picking at number 17, 18 at this point?
Okay, so if we're talking about if we're talking about you fighting for an 8th spot,
you go for it.
I guess. I mean, if you're right there, yeah.
You're a game and a half behind. You gotta go for it.
I mean, if you're 10 games back, come on, man, it doesn't really matter. Be bad. That's the time that you be bad.
Lakers.
Yeah.
I'll say like this from a draft point, perspective. Just looking at the mock drafts. I think it is a bit of a difference between 13 and 18,
really?
Looking at who might be there. I'm like, that could be a chance of having a Domantas Sabonis as opposed to, a big man who's not as good.
Grayson Allen, maybe?
Yeah, Grayson Allen's he's around that 18, 19 range.
Sabonis Jr. is way better. So
I mean,
just from that perspective, I would take the 13th pick over the 18th pick.
in a first-round exit, right? I don't know, man. It is contingent upon, some other things. But, no, I think if you're a game out, then, yeah, of course, you got to go for it. You get in the playoffs, and you never know. But I don't know. I'm going to tell you what. A team like Minnesota, I mean, I wouldn't be caring if I'm winning. New Orleans is right there. New Orleans is only – no, never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. But no,
they're 6.5 out.
They might as well not be, focused on the playoffs either.
No, they should be focused on getting somebody that's not on the technical injury line.
Man, they need to just rest their players the rest of the year so they don't get some kind of crazy injury that keeps them out all of next year. So
Anthony Davis. Here's a question, guys, before we go to break. The Los Angeles Lakers, we talked about the Lakers winning a game on Sunday with Kobe Bryant's Stance Socks Day.
Yeah.
They're 1-0 with the Kobe socks on. If you are, the Lakers, do you wear the Kobe socks every game for the rest of the season and try to turn this thing around?
No chance.
They're on a one-game winning streak.
Kobe socks or no Kobe socks, play D'Angelo Russell.
That's
he
it.
Actually can play.
Let the kid play, man.
I mean, they have freed D'Angelo Russell. to the point, 22.5 points a game over his last 6, 20 points a game and 5 assists. With most impressively, 49% from the 3-point line in the last 8 games.
When we talked about the draft, before, back when we were on
in the dark ages.
Yeah, back before we were, syndicated, we talked about the difference between Okafor being selected by the Lakers and Russell being selected by the Lakers. This is what we all kind of envisioned for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad to see that he's actually coming around and being allowed to play. He's going to be a good player. That's going to be a good backcourt. If the Lakers can avoid giving their pick to Philly and they can get a guy like Simmons, this Lakers team is going to be pretty good here soon.
I hope Ben Simmons doesn't go to Los Angeles. It's just too easy for me. It's just too much and too easy about that. But
you're looking at – listen to this young lineup. I don't even care about the center position. You got Randall at power forward, Simmons at small forward, and you got Clarkson and Russell at either guard position. So
that's good.
That's a heck of a start, for the Lakers who have been, in the dumps the last couple of years.
We're going to take another break here on Full Court Press Radio here on Sports Talk 1080 The Team. When we get back, we'll close out the show. Like I said, we're back in 2 minutes.
Shirts Just For You is a unique custom graphic apparel store. Our motto is made for you, inspired by you. We offer a variety of designs ready for purchase, or you can create your own at no additional cost. With spring just around the corner, they would like to get you prepared, whether just for yourself or for your big event, like a family reunion, bachelor or bachelorette party, or even a work function. When you buy 4 shirts, get the 5th free using the code NBA FCP Radio. Buy 4, get more at checkout.
Are you looking to expand your reach and following in all platforms of media? Do you need a jump start in expanding your brand to all markets across the world? Sofo is here for you. Sofo means something for everyone, and they are here to help you expand your business through all platforms of media. Their experienced team is here for you to expand your brand and put you and your business in places that you would have never been before. Check them out at www.sofoellc.com or call 407-607-9862. Follow SOFO ELLC on Instagram and Twitter.
I just bought my son sick basketball apparel from DHTK.com. DHTK.com has all the newest and coolest brands, such as Don't Hate the King, Repra, 23NT, and GAM30VE.